right? What's the next category?
Best Supporting Actress.
Oh,
Yeah, I got some strong words for these.
Lighthouse.
Okay, this one should be Robert Pattinson.
This is a heated one.
Robert Pattinson did such a great job in The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse was just the best actress in the whole movie. The Lighthouse was just so... The structure, I mean.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so Inish, why don't you read off our nominees?
Alrighty, we got Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. Did anyone see
Nope.
Richard Jewell?
No.
I heard it was okay.
Yeah, I was
No.
gonna say I had
Kinda
a
wanted to, but not a
mild
ton.
interest, and that's where it ended. It was like, oh, I might see that
Yeah,
at some
that's
point
really
in my
what it
life.
was.
Eventually.
I'll get to it.
We have Scarlett
light.
Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, Margot Robbie for Bombshell, and the winner was Laura Dern for Marriage Story.
Okay, so first of all, I have not seen Richard Jewell or Bombshell, so it's not entirely fair to be saying like who deserved to win without seeing all of the performances. However, I do know that from my perspective, Laura Dern, without any disrespect to the actress herself, I think she's great, did not deserve this win whatsoever. I'm not saying she was bad in Marriage Story, but she just played like a normal modern character, and I've never saw any acting complexity in there. Whereas Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit shows how she cares for her child. She shows despair. She shows hope. I don't even see how those two could be compared.
The scene where she has to play the father and the mother is one of the funniest and most heartbreaking
Even
scenes.
when they walk with the little Jojo, like, and she just like is such a shining beacon of hope in his grim Nazi world. It's so beautiful, and Laura Dern is like she's all right.
She's all right. Yeah, I'd rate her.
I'm tearing up as you were
I'd rate her around a 5.
you were describing Scarlett Johansson, and I started tearing up. It's so emotional.
She's all right.
Yeah. I agree with everything that Oleg just said, except I think Laura Dern does do a very good job in the film. Like, I think her performance is definitely a cut above just like a standard
I
delivery.
feel like the role itself.
But beyond that, I agree with
I will
everything
track
that Oleg
back.
just
I'm
said.
not ripping on Laura Dern. I just think the role itself, as I feel like said but didn't communicate well enough, didn't really offer any potential to show those depths that an actor or actress can achieve with a role.
I agree. It was a decently one-note role. It didn't have too much
Like
complexity.
Laura
to it.
Dern did a much better job in my opinion, or I guess her role was much more interesting and she did a good job with it in Little Women. Like there was more complexity to it. She showed just more range, I guess.
Maybe. I haven't seen it.
Oh, also, one thing that I want to say before we forget is that Lupita Nyong'o definitely should have been
yeah,
here.
Is that
Yes,
is
she's
that a
so
lead
good at it.
performance or
Actually, probably
be-
yes.
she
Oh,
should
that
be
might
on
be a
here?
lead
I agree with
performance.
that. On
Yeah.
either one of those two.
Yeah. Okay. For both performances, Peter Sellers was nominated for 3 performances, and Doctor Strangelove she can get nominated
Because
for 2.
both of them were fantastic. So
Nope. I think that agree. I
Anything
agree
else
with
to
all
add
that.
here?
alrighty. Best supporting
All right,
actor.
next up.
We have Tom Hanks for Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and the winner is Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm just gonna say I feel like there was a small performance done by an actor named Willem Dafoe that was
Yeah, I was
severely...
about to launch into a rant, but
I'll let you take it away
I
because you
think
are
all
more
of these
charged on this.
fucking performances are great. I will say maybe like I haven't seen A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, but it seems like he captured the character pretty well. Like that's all I could say about that. But even given how good Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci were in their respective movies, Willem Dafoe like pushed a once in a lifetime sort of performance out of him in The Lighthouse. And they not only did they not give him the win that he truly deserved, they didn't even bloody nominate him for it. And that is such a fucking snub.
Yep, I agree. I think that's the worst snub. It's with the possible exception of Apollo 11 in the documentary category. Willem Dafoe was the worst snub this year.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the best performance I saw all year.
I think he was better
in
than Joaquin
category.
Phoenix was in Joker, personally.
I think
would
easily,
agree.
yeah.
No, maybe not.
He was better. He was better than
wouldn't
Joaquin
agree.
Phoenix. He was better
I would
than.
say that.
Yeah, I think he was.
He. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I would still give it to Joaquin for Joker, but no, the performance of Willem Dafoe, he's always been one of my favorite actors, but he should have been nominated, but he shouldn't have won over Joaquin in his Masterful.
Well, he wouldn't win over Joaquin because he's in the supporting actor category, and Joaquin is in the lead actor category.
Lead and supporting is a little bit difficult in that. Yeah.
In The Lighthouse, I agree, but that's how we have it, so...
Yeah. I think also it's fair to acknowledge that like studios have like come out and explicitly said that they will often put people in supporting categories specifically because they think the actors have a higher chance of winning in those categories and for very little other reason, which is exactly what they were doing with Willem Dafoe throughout the festival circuit. So that is where he would have ended up should he got nominated.
Yeah, no, he should have been nominated for Best Actor if he was pushed into that position, but alas. So did Robert Pattinson, actually. Yeah. Robert Pattinson also deserved a nomination for Best Actor because he did an amazing job.
I agree with that,
we'll get to that. Coming back to the current contestants in the category and the winner, I don't think anything here is truly undeserved, except for the Willem Dafoe bit. Like, I'm okay with this.
I would have liked to see Joe Pesci win, I guess. I think Joe Pesci was fantastic, but I'm not mad about Brad Pitt winning. So, yeah.
Yeah. I liked Brad Pitt's performance a lot.
Yeah, I would
cool.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Best Actress.
All right.
We have I don't know how to say her name. Cynthia? No, yeah, okay, yeah. No, but Cynthia Erivo?
Erivo?
Yeah, Cynthia Erivo.
I think that's how I would pronounce
for
it.
Harriet. Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. Charlize Theron for Bombshell. And Renee Zellweger for a movie that I don't know anyone who has seen.
Hold on,
Judy.
hold on. I just want to point out that you struggled with Cynthia Erivo, which is a fairly straightforward pronunciation, versus Saoirse, which is
she's famous.
I've heard Saoirse Ronan's name so many times.
Yeah, she's like pretty. Okay, they're all famous and big. That's not.
They're all famous and big. I hear the name Saoirse Ronan very often, and I don't hear Cynthia Erivo.
But there's not even something. There's not even something
Congrats,
difficult.
Alex! You got a genuine laugh
Erivo.
out of me on air.
It's Erivo.
Is it Erivo?
It's fucking straightforward.
No, but you could pronounce it differently.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, theoretically speaking, don't record me saying this, but somebody could pronounce it as, like, Arrivo.
Oh, wait,
no, keep that
I love that movie.
Please.
That's
Arrivo?
true. That's
I love
fair.
that movie.
Someone definitely could do that.
Arrivo?
Okay. Arrivo, my favorite.
Who
Does anyone
the
have
fuck has
anything
even
to
seen
say
about
about
Judy?
this category?
Okay, actually,
'Cause I know I do.
Where's Lupita Nyong'o? That's my question.
No one saw Judy.
Yeah.
I just like
Lupita
when
Nyong'o?
me and Oleg
For sure.
watched the Oscars together, and as they were going through the nominees, I was saying, Scarlett Johansson is probably going to win. They might give it to the little woman, Saoirse.
Yeah, that was
little
our
woman.
I was trying to say little
the little
woman.
woman. Yeah.
The little women actor or actress. Yeah. But I was like, it's probably one of those two. And we were kind of chuckling when they put up Renee Zellweger as Judy. And I even went, that's Renee Zellweger? Jesus. And then,
Jeez, okay.
well, she's had a lot of work done, and she doesn't look like Renee Zellweger anymore.
She has.
But
yeah. I knew it was
How the
gonna be.
fuck-
I knew it was
how the
gonna be
fuck
her
did you
just because
know
I'm
it was-
a like festival circuit
You-
nut.
no,
I
no.
think I got
You know
all but
what?
two categories
I'm
right
calling
this
bullshit.
year, or something
There's
like
no
that,
way
so,
you guessed
but, like-
fucking Renee Zellweger for
No,
Judy Garland.
No, I guessed.
No, I did. Ask Ines.
Bullshit.
He was there at the part. We had a group
No,
of
no,
like
no.
20 people, and I had the most
We
correct
were actually
nominations.
Andrew and I grabbed lunch before the Oscars that night, and I was like, I've heard everyone saying Judy's gonna win, but I don't know anyone who's seen it. And then you were like, vote for Judy because everyone says it's gonna win, and I'm like, I guess okay. So then I voted for Judy. Lo and behold, we go to the Oscar watch party. Everyone there voted for Judy, or just about everyone.
Why?
And I'm like, has anyone in the room even seen it? And no one had seen it, but almost everyone had voted Judy. So I don't know what happened.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But also, like, it doesn't make it any less unfair. Maybe the trailers that they show, like, during the Academy, like, clips completely misrepresent her performance in the movie. And to be fair, Academy loves doing that with performances. But also, like,
Yes.
no, she was not the best. I'm sorry.
We were voting
Like,
based on correctness, not who we wanted to win.
No.
So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. No, we did
I
not.
understand that.
Of the ones nominated, I would say Saoirse was definitely the one that stood out the most to me. I haven't seen Harriet or Bombshell, full disclosure. I'm sure
I would
both
say
of them did
Harriet.
fine.
I've just heard a couple of things, and from what I've heard, it's pretty trash. So
Ouch.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
that Judy wasn't entirely good either, but I guess this is an acting category,
Yeah.
so
I looked up
it's
on
not a film
Letterboxd,
category.
and only 3 people that I follow have seen it, and they're like friends from high school, and they gave it collectively a 2, a 1.5, and a 2.
rip.
So not a ringing endorsement.
Bangers. Yeah. I like to point out that I think the 2 best acting performances this year in the Best Actress category were Lupita Nyong'o in Us and Florence Pugh in
yeah.
Midsummer, which I would have said should have won. I thought her performance in Midsummer was
the horror
absolutely
movie bias
incredible.
comes in.
I think she mastered a wide range of emotions. She was able to very sensitively portray someone caught in a toxic relationship. I don't think the writing was always the best for her, but she was able to carry even some of her weaker material to absolutely great heights.
I will say I slightly it's not even as much of a disagreement as just a difference in taste. I think Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit, out of the nominees, or at least out of what I've seen among the nominees, was the superior performance.
But she was nominated for Marriage Story.
In Marriage
You
Story,
said
you
Jojo
mean?
Rabbit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I misspoke.
That's okay.
Apologies. Actually, that would be true as well, because I think that her performance in either Jojo Rabbit or Marriage Story would be the best here, but Marriage Story for this case is what I'm going with. Little Women had solid performances from all the main actors, but I feel like it's just the movie, unlike Marriage Story, was not that much my cup of tea. I kind of struggled with the first half, and that might have just ruined, but slightly worsened my first impressions. I still think the acting was very solid. That's my number 2 in the category.
Fair.
Nope.
Anyone else?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o.
She would probably.
Yes,
She would
I think
probably
we all
win
agree
it.
that
Maybe,
Let's
I
be
don't know.
real.
It was the best performance of the year, and it came out in
if you're going-
March.
Exactly.
Yeah, here's the thing. The Academy loves, I mean, if this win proves anything, it's that the Academy loves to give Oscars to people they've already given Oscars to, kind of just as a reaffirmment that they gave Oscars to the right people. And if you're going to do that, do it for Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, she already
instead,
won
please.
once. Just give it again, because she was actually
She
good.
was so good
Yeah.
in Us. Oh my god.
Alrighty, Best Actor. We have Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, Jonathan Price for The Two Popes, and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
And Robert Pattinson for The Lighthouse.
Oh, sorry, no, that didn't happen.
So I
What
think
do you
this
mean
is
it didn't happen?
It didn't happen.
No. But how?
It didn't happen.
I think this is a pretty straightforward win.
Sorry.
Wait, you're gonna make me pull it up? No, I won't. One day.
So real quick, I think this is a straightforward win for Joaquin. There's not even a question in my mind.
I think Adam Driver for Rise of Skywalker should have won. So
Yeah.
In fairness, Adam
was
Driver
the
was
best
easily
part.
the best part
Yeah.
of that movie.
I agree.
that is
Hands down.
true.
But we already talked about that in length in our Star Wars
Yeah.
talk. Yeah, I agree with Alex here that in the competition that is actually represented in this nomination, Joaquin Phoenix easily takes the cake. If Robert Pattinson or Willem Dafoe happened to be in the category, it would be harder, but I could still see myself leaning towards Joaquin Phoenix because it really was a performance that defined a movie. And a very solid movie, to be fair.
Not only defined, but carried the entire movie on his
I agree.
shoulders.
Adam Driver was really good in Marriage Story. Like, really, really good in Marriage Story. But I still, like, it's hard because we're talking about performances that are very, very different and both very, very good. But I just feel like Joaquin Phoenix's impact on his film was respectively more significant than Adam Driver's impact on Marriage Story.
I agree
That's
with
fair.
Oleg.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree with Oleg entirely.
I think Andrew and I talked about this. I do think Taron Egerton was snubbed for Rocket Man.
Yes, I agree with. I think that Taron Egerton in Rocket Man was the best performance I saw last year.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, shout out.
I didn't see it, so.
sorry.
No, it's fine. I
There's
didn't
a
see
thing
Rocket
that-
Man, but
There's a term, I think, in Hollywood where it's like the triple threat actor. It's
Yeah.
an actor who can sing, dance, and perform, like,
Hugh
act.
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman is a triple threat actor, yes.
Yeah, James
I think
Cagney,
Russell
a
Crowe.
classic example, as was
Yeah,
Gene
Russell
Kelly.
Crowe is a singular threat. When he watched Les Miserables.
Russell Crowe is a threat to your well-being.
I was gonna say. Meanwhile, you have Mel Gibson, who's a threat to society.
But yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I think Joaquin Phoenix, definitely an amazing performance.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton had a lot to do and a lot of ground to cover. And it's kind of hard to fathom that a performance had more to do and more ground to cover than Joaquin Phoenix in Joker last year. But Taron Egerton, he played his own piano, he did his own dancing, he did his own singing, he followed acting all the way through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and nailed absolutely all of it. Had brilliant chemistry with everyone that was on screen with him. Just a powerhouse performance all around.
I also, not once in the movie did I see a performance, or did I see Taron Egerton. I saw Elton John. Like, I didn't even realize, like, the movie ended, I'm like, oh yeah, starring Taron Egerton.
Dude,
Obviously.
when I was watching The Joker, I didn't see Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, no.
I saw
I
The Joker.
saw Joaquin Phoenix.
No, that was a joke. I was an incel for a second.
I saw Joaquin Phoenix in the
Joaquin
performance
Phoenix.
where it's like, it feels like it is a fantastic performance. One of the best of the decade, I would say. But I do feel like it is still a performance. And it's a very strong performance, like very, very well done. But Taron Egerton, it's like he literally, I don't see him in the movie. It's Elton John sort of a thing where it's just like, it doesn't feel like performance. It feels so authentic to like, he is that person, and he did all parts of the performance that were required. Granted, every other part of the production was up to the level of him as well, but he did just a phenomenal job, and I feel like he should have won, or at least gotten some recognition. So,
Before moving...
Yeah,
oh, sorry,
no.
you go.
I was gonna say, Joaquin Phoenix, like, Taron Egerton may have been good at being Elton John, maybe. I can't say I didn't see it. But Joaquin Phoenix, like, just turned in such a powerful performance where he not only just carried a movie all on his own, because he alone makes that movie, but he manages to solo carry a movie into being one of the best movies of the year, just on his very thin, emaciated back.
I don't think it's one of
So-
the best films of the year. I think it's.
Well,
I
that's-
agree with that. I don't think it is either.
I mean,
Eh.
I think that one of is definitely fair to say.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
think
say,
it's
like,
very
the best, no.
higher mid tier for me.
one of, yes.
but it's not. It's not even in my top 10 or 20.
Oh, it's in my top 20 for sure. But I don't think it's in my top 10 either.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe.
I think it's a
not in your
solid
top
22. So
Do you actually remember what your top 20 are?
I don't remember. I know it's somewhere between 20 and 30. I just the
I
the
actually
range.
find
I
it hard
remember.
to believe. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's like, I mean, that's not a discussion.
We'll get to that in the picture category.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything else to say about actor?
Yes,
I think we all agree that Joaquin has a great performance, but Einish
We
and
do,
I
but
both
I have
think
something
Taron was
to
a
say.
bit better.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just really want to like have a shout out for mi hermano Leonardo DiCaprio, because yeah, it wasn't the best performance of the year, but it was up there.
It was really funny.
Yeah, he showcased real acting range.
Mhm.
I think that it was one of DiCaprio's actually strongest performances, and he has a streak of just phenomenal acting. Like, I mean, the memes about DiCaprio not having an Oscar died in 2014 when I think it was 2014.
2016.
Oh, 2016.
2017.
Okay.
It was 2017.
Did I,
guys.
did I ever tell you about how I learned that
The
he won
Revenant.
the Oscar?
regardless, The Revenant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story about like how I won the? It's a really short story, but it's kind of funny.
I mean, shoot. Yeah, I did
right.
the shout out that I wanted.
So I was on a spring break trip to in Nicaragua, where it was like a school trip, and we didn't have any like Wi-Fi or cell phones or anything. I think like there was like 4 channels on like the TV at the hotel we were staying, and I wanted to know did DiCaprio win the Oscar? I had no idea. The day after the Oscars, I go out and I see like a newspaper, and it's in Spanish because it's Nicaragua, and it says like the only words I make out are DiCaprio and Oscar, and it's a photo of him holding an Oscar. So I'm like, I think he won, but again, I can't read Spanish, so I don't know if he won. So then I had to ask someone else who actually like speaks Spanish, what does this say? But that's how I learned that he won.
Cool story.
Go. So,
Cool story, bro.
I will say, I think it's interesting that
Yeet.
I find DiCaprio's best performances a lot of the times are like when he's basically doing dry comedy. So like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Wolf of Wall Street, which I think is his best performance. Those are the two that come to
Such a
mind.
good performance.
Like, I'm glad to see like his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood up here, because like it definitely kind of, though it's not a straightforward comedic performance per se, it does kind of show that the Academy is still willing to like give comedic performances some credo, which is nice.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio is also just a god.
Yeah, he's just a
He
really good
is
actor.
very amazing, especially in
Fantastic
this movie. He does not reach anywhere near Joaquin, though, I will say. So,
Not this year,
it's
no.
an easy. Yeah, not in this movie. I mean, the movie, he was great in the movie, but he wasn't Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker good. And like, I'm not even one that will sit there, jerking off the movie saying, "Oh my God, there's never been anything like."
So
I'm not
not an
like
average
that.
member of the audience, I see.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not the type to just hate on it unnecessarily either.
It's not an average film critic, I see.
Not your average film student.
Yeah.
No, okay. Nobody knows.
But-
Just gonna take a dump on you two, but that does not really. That is not in any way, shape, or form related to you. But nobody knows less about film than film students.
That honestly, there's some. I don't agree 100%, but I do see like, yeah, that makes some sense.
Yeah,
Nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
That is also
that
true.
is 100% true.
That is very
As a
true.
Star Wars fan, I attest to that.
Yeah.
I read this one review where someone was hating on The Last Jedi because they didn't use the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, that is bad. That is pretty.
Yeah, that's
bad.
actually awful
the
though.
reasons-
That is
Of
despicable.
all the reasons to hate that movie.
They were like, I give this 1.5 stars because they didn't use the Wilhelm scream when someone fell, and I was like,
Is this the death of cinema? No. But also, hold up.
All right, next category. If everyone's done here.
I'd like to shout out Logan Paul for Airplane Mode.
Next category.
All right, so